Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Crystals and Codes, your hub for spiritual wisdom and awakening. If you're craving meaning, connection, and truth, you've found your tribe. Let's unlock today's teaching together. Today, we're exploring a profound teaching from the Law of One that has the power to transform how we understand forgiveness, karma, and ultimately, our own spiritual journey. On February 4th, 1981, in Session 18, the questioner asked, "You stated yesterday that forgiveness is the eradicator of karma. I am assuming that balanced forgiveness for the full eradication of karma would require forgiveness not only of other selves, but also the forgiveness of self. Am I correct?" And Ra responded with the following, "I am Ra. You are correct." We will briefly expand upon this understanding in order to clarify. Forgiveness of other selves is forgiveness of self. An understanding of this insists upon full forgiveness, upon the conscious level of self and other self, for they are one. A full forgiveness is thus impossible without the inclusion of self. In this particular exchange, the questioner asks Ra about something Ra had mentioned previously, that forgiveness is the eradicator of karma. The questioner intuitively senses there's more to this than just forgiving others, and asks whether balanced forgiveness would require us to forgive not only other people, but also ourselves. Ra's response is simple yet profound. You are correct. Ra continues to expand on this concept in a way that reveals something fundamental about the nature of reality itself. According to Ra, forgiveness of other selves is forgiveness of self. These aren't two separate acts. They're actually the same thing. And here's why. Because self and other self are one. When we truly understand this unity, we realize that full forgiveness must happen on the conscious level, encompassing both what we perceive as self and what we perceive as other. Without including ourselves in this process, complete forgiveness simply isn't possible. Let's take a moment to really sit with what this means. Many of us have been taught that forgiveness is something we extend outward, a gift we give to those who have wronged us. We might think of it as releasing someone from the debt they owe us, or choosing not to hold their actions against them anymore. And while this understanding isn't wrong, Ra is inviting us to see a much deeper layer. When Ra says that forgiving others is forgiving ourselves, they're pointing to the fundamental interconnectedness of all beings. In the Law of One philosophy, we're all part of the same infinite consciousness, experiencing itself through countless unique perspectives. The person who hurt you, the stranger on the street, your best friend, your worst enemy, they're all expressions of the same one infinite creator, just as you are. We're like individual waves in the same ocean, appearing separate but fundamentally made of the same water. From this perspective, when someone causes you pain, it's ultimately one part of the infinite self, causing pain to another part. And when you harbor resentment, anger, or unforgiveness toward them, you're actually directing those energies toward yourself, toward the unified consciousness that you both share. The separation is an illusion, even if it feels incredibly real in our everyday experience. This is why Ra emphasizes that full forgiveness requires conscious awareness of both self and other self. You can't genuinely release judgment toward another person while still holding harsh judgment against yourself for your own perceived failures. The same critical voice, the same unwillingness to let go, the same attachment to past wounds. These patterns don't recognize the artificial boundary we draw between me and them. They flow through our consciousness, affecting how we relate to all aspects of existence. Think about a time when you struggled to forgive someone. Maybe you replayed the situation over and over, imagining what you should have said, feeling the sting of their words or actions. Now think about how you treat yourself when you make mistakes. Do you replay your failures? Do you speak to yourself with harshness? Do you struggle to let go of your own past actions? The energy is the same. The inability to forgive is the same. And according to Ra, this is what creates karma. These knots of unforgiveness, these places where energy gets stuck because we haven't fully released judgment and allowed love to flow freely. When Ra says that forgiveness eradicates karma, they're describing a profound spiritual technology, Karma isn't punishment from some external force. It's the natural consequence of holding on to energetic patterns that block our evolution. Every grudge we carry, every harsh judgment we make, every way we refuse to extend compassion, these create the conditions we'll need to meet again, in this life or another, until we finally learn the lesson of unity and forgiveness. But here's the beautiful part. You have the power to dissolve these patterns right now. You don't have to wait for perfect circumstances or for someone to apologize. The work of forgiveness is internal, and it's available to you in every moment. True forgiveness begins with recognizing that the other person was doing the best they could with the consciousness and understanding they had at the time, just as you were doing the best you could. It continues with extending that same compassionate understanding to yourself. You are worthy of forgiveness. Your mistakes don't define you. Your past doesn't have to determine your future. As you practice this kind of unified forgiveness, something shifts. The energetic knots begin to loosen. The karmic patterns start to dissolve. You find yourself lighter, freer, more able to move forward on your spiritual path. You're no longer carrying the weight of separation consciousness, the exhausting illusion that you're fundamentally divided from others and at war with yourself. Ra's teaching reminds us that the path to spiritual evolution isn't about becoming perfect or never making mistakes. It's about remembering our unity, extending compassion in all directions, and allowing forgiveness to wash through our consciousness like a cleansing river, carrying away everything that prevents us from recognizing the love that connects all things. So today, I invite you to sit with this teaching. Ask yourself, is there somewhere I may be withholding forgiveness from others? Am I withholding it from myself? And can I begin to see these as the same wound, calling for the same healing? Thank you for joining me on Crystals and Codes. Until next time, may you walk in forgiveness, unity, and love.